Hello. Hi, everyone. All right, guys, I am so excited to be sharing with you today. For those of you who don't know me, I just want to introduce myself quickly. My name is Tara Lambert. I am a wife. I am a mom of two daughters who are 8 and 6, and I am a research assistant at a very large family health team here in the province of Ontario, where I live in Canada. And I am a manager with Aloette of Oakville. Now, I was asked to share with you today a bit about my journey, my growth, and mostly how I've nurtured my business to get it to where it is today. Now, I started my Aloette business almost 12 years ago. And a few of you know this about me, but most of you do not. I was hesitant. So I have pretty severe anxiety, which basically means speaking in front of people is really outside of my comfort zone and not something that I thought I could ever see myself doing. Now, my friend, who I'd known for quite a few years, had actually asked me when we were 16 to get started in the business. This was 8 years before I officially decided to join. Now, at the age of 16, shockingly, I was intrigued. I brought the idea back to my mom, who initially shut it down. She basically was like, oh, honey, you know how all those home show parties work. So my journey includes a ton of this: dream killers, anxiety, fear, bad self-image, and bad self-talk. I was laid off from my job in 2011, and my friend, then recruiter and manager, she brought it up again, that I should give this a go, because what did I have to lose now? I didn't even have an income. I'm not going to lie, my immediate answer was still no, but I had been watching her on Facebook win all these trips and jewelry and earn this extra money, and the desperation in me really needed to do something. So I met up with her to discuss the opportunity, and she told me that she would teach me everything that I needed to know to get started. So I did. For years, I was up and down. I was watching other women join the business and surpass me in sales, in recruiting, and I was telling myself this really negative story. I'll never be good enough. I'll never be pretty enough. I'll never be funny or fun enough. I was telling myself these things. And those around me in my closest of circle, my husband, my brother, my mom, they weren't so confident in this business venture either. Now, I started to do parties, and the one thing that I always believed to my core early on was that people did not want to shop with me and they did not want to party with me. And I believed this because of those stories and the unintentional dream killers. Now it's been 12 years. I'm 3 years into management with a ton of confidence gained, multiple trips earned, jewelry won, and thousands of extra dollars poured into my family's household income. So how did I get here? Well, it wasn't an overnight process, I can tell you that, but nothing happens overnight. And this is a business after all. You do have to work to get paid or to grow. Now, I'm about to share with you some of my journey and my tips, but all of our journeys are going to look different. However, I believe that the fundamentals and the steps to grow and nurture your business remain the same for all of us. One thing that really became important to me over the years was the trainings. Even when I didn't have the most successful business, I still showed up. You could literally be the most inactive consultant, but it's so important to still show up for trainings, okay? You're going to learn something maybe about the business. You might even learn something about life. But seriously, there's leaders here and consultants here that will teach you everything you need to know, especially at the trainings. If you want to have a great party, we've got trainings for that. You want to sell socially, we've got trainings for that. You want to become one of the best recruiters in the company, we can teach you how to do that. I'm telling you, there are ladies in this business who have studied and mastered all that you need to succeed. You just have to be willing to learn. So one of the things I did over the years was I carefully listened to the trainings. I actually enjoyed them because I did learn a ton about, things I could use, like tips I could use at home. But one time, Deb asked me a very real question. We were out for lunch and I told her that I didn't really love the idea of doing parties because I thought that everyone was looking at me and they were judging me. They had to have been thinking the things I was telling myself, right? And Deb actually said something so important to me that stuck with me now for the remainder of those 12 years. And she said to me, what are you doing to them if you believe they're judging you, right? Like if I go into these parties and I start thinking, oh my God, they're all judging me. What am I doing to them? The answer hit me like a ton of bricks, and I knew the answer as soon as the words came out of her mouth. I was judging them first. And this is where the transition really started for me. I worked on not prejudging anyone because it's not fair and it's not real. In the long run, this is so important for our business because when we are prejudging others, we almost take away the opportunity for them. We take away the opportunity for women to spend money the way they want to. We take away the opportunity for them to have great skincare and clean quality makeup. We take away the opportunity for them to have parties and shop at a highly discounted rate, all while getting together with their girlfriends and having an amazing night. And we take away the opportunity for them to join us and for them to live their best life, their dream life, in whatever fashion that may be for them. We close all these doors based on our fears and our judgment. So if you're here and you're doing that, stop. You have no idea what someone else is thinking about you. And to add, if they are thinking something about you, what others think about you is not any of your business. This was a hard lesson for me, but one that I'm very grateful for. It's funny because I used to worry so much all the time about what people were thinking about me, and now I don't really care because of that tough lesson. We cannot control others, but we can control ourselves. The next massive thing I did to jumpstart my growth was make a decision. So like I said, for years, women were doing amazing things, and I just kept watching them climb while I sat back and did nothing because of my limiting beliefs. It was New Year's 2020, a brand new decade, and my motto was stop making excuses. I told everyone, my manager, the president, I posted it on all social media platforms. I was going to do something with my Aloette business. Now I was being held accountable. But I also, I was no longer going to let my fear win, and I slightly wanted to show other people that I could prove them wrong. You know, those dream killers. Listen, if you haven't decided yet that you're going to prioritize your business in some sense, whether you want to work one party a month, sell socially, or make full-time income, you simply aren't going to do the work. It is so important to not only decide, but also to create goals and a vision. Because the other thing is, if you don't really have a reason or a why you are doing this, again, you won't do the work. There has to be something that you're striving for. I'll give you an example. 3.5 years ago, when I did decide that I want to do this, it was really because I just wanted to stop playing games with myself. I wanted to prove everyone wrong, and I really wanted to get out of my comfort zone. But mostly, I wanted to show my daughters that I could do this. And I was either in or out. I wasn't wasting time anymore. I wanted to be part of the big Aloette picture. I wanted to be able to look at others, or I wanted others to be able to look at me, the way that I was looking up to all those who inspired me on my path. Then in March 2020, the pandemic hit. Now, this is a massive shift for me. And again, this is my personal story. Yours is going to be different. So please don't compare your journey to mine. Don't compare your journey to your managers or anyone else. You need to work for you. Your reasons and whys have to be yours. Now, in March 2020, the world as we knew it came to a sudden halt. Again, I was working full-time in healthcare. I was running mass immunization clinics and assessment centers all over the province. I was put under a ton of pressure to be there, to be at the office, to run these clinics. But I also had 2 small children at home who needed me when their schools and their daycares closed. Now, I watched one other person in the franchise go live on a Facebook party, something we really hadn't mastered before. And I decided already that this was it. Because I decided months earlier that I was doing this regardless of what happened. The pandemic and going live just made this easier for someone like me, because now I could do a virtual party. I didn't even have to show up at someone's house. This was the highlight of my life in that moment. So I realigned my goals and my whys very, very quickly. I had no idea what was to come, but I knew that Aloette could help. Ladies, when you're making a goal, you don't have to know in that moment how you're going to get there, but you do need to make the goal. My goal was going to be that I needed to earn enough money to not have to work for the foreseeable future should this pandemic continue, because I had to come home unpaid when I decided that I was going to put my kids first. This is why it's so important. Now, fast forward, my decision, my mindset, my goals, my vision, they all brought me into management because I could clearly see what I wanted and I was actually working towards it. I stopped prejudging others and I started asking everyone about the party or the opportunity. Now, listen, there are so many people that I almost didn't ask. I would do my Facebook party and I would talk to them on Facebook Messenger or text, and it was short and straight to the point, and all they wanted was a visible aid. So I'd be like, don't ask them. They just want the visible aid. And then I said, no, I promised that I would ask everyone. That was the promise I made to myself. So I'd ask them and they'd say yes. And I'd be shocked. Now, here's the thing. I asked them properly, with a date and a benefit. And if you need guidance on that, or if you need the exact words, ask your manager. They have them. We can give them to you. Now, fast forward again to almost 2 full years into the pandemic, quickly working our way into year 3. I reached my first real big goal, My why was to have that second income, and I had that, but I hadn't made a new vision. So now I halted. And it's crazy because I still had the parties, but I had no motivation to do them. In fact, I was feeling so sad and so down. This was November 2021. I was so far what was the top of my game in the business, but I was slowly letting it all go. So I knew what I needed to do. I needed to call Deb, the president of my franchise. That phone call with Deb, which, by the way, I highly recommend. If you are not where you want to be in your business, you need to call your manager and walk through it. You will likely also have to do this multiple times in your careers. I still do this. So we talked about how I reached a plateau, I met my goal, and then I stopped. It was time to reimagine. But this was a bit harder for me because now I'm back at work. School was back in. I was tired. I was burnt out, and I really didn't know what I wanted in that moment. But then I started thinking, well, what if this happens again? What if I get into a position again where I can't work? So then that's when I really decided that if I'm ever going to be in this position again, Alouette's going to help me. Also, if I get to stay at my full-time career and nothing major like a pandemic shifts that, I'll plan on retiring that full-time career by the age of 50. That's 15 years before the social age of retirement in the province I live. Now, your goal may not be as big as mine, and it doesn't have to be by any means. Mine didn't start like that either. When I started, my goals were like, buy a new pair of jeans, get groceries this week, make the van payment. But the point is, if you keep making new goals, you keep motivated and you keep moving. Now, another couple of years have gone by since then. I've had months where I question if my team will qualify. I've had moments of uncertainty and doubt, but I also now have the tools to continue to pull myself back up when I'm down. What's really cool about growth is that the downfalls become easier every single time. You learn how to pick yourself up more quickly when you fall. You learn how to get back on track. You know that the why and the decision is the most important driving force. In the past few years, I've been able to bring my Aloette income up so much that it now matches and sometimes surpasses my full-time career, but I work a third of the hours with Aloette. I've earned trips, jewelry, confidence, and friendships that will last a lifetime. This past trip to Newfoundland, I was able to bring my mom. Remember her, my first dream killer? Now, to tell you about dream killers quickly, because I know that we all have them. My husband, he was another one, and there were moments in my marriage where my husband would question if this was worth my time. Again, I'm taking time away from him and the kids. This was a slight issue until the paycheck came in. Now, these people in our lives, these dream killers, they typically do not want to steal our thunder or hurt us. What they do want instead is to protect us. They want to protect us from fear, failure, and even embarrassment. What I taught myself eventually was that I had my own lenses, and I couldn't live through their diluted visions. What I needed to do was show them how their vision didn't have to be my reality. What I wanted to do was prove to them that I could do this, and then I did. My mom came with me on that trip to Newfoundland and had the absolute time of her life, and she told me multiple times throughout that trip how proud she was of me, that I never gave up. And to be fair, even before that trip, there would be times when I'd call her crying. I'd want to give up or quit because my husband and I were struggling. He would be trying to put the kids to bed, and I would be downstairs trying to do a party, and that was just hard on everybody. And I'd call her and I'd say, I'm done. And that was it. And she would say, all the growth and confidence I've seen in you over the years comes from this journey, and you will not stop for him or anyone else. If you stop, it will be for you. But we're able to make it work now, me and my husband, because even when there's scheduling conflicts, even if he doesn't understand it all the time, he knows that I love this journey and why I'm here. And because of those decisions we've made together, we both know this is just part of our life now. In all, I really do believe to my core that nurturing your business really starts with a decision, a goal, and knowing your why. I believe that the rest follows when you start with the basics and you take action. Go to trainings, talk with your manager, and show up here at conference. Invest in yourself, and you will be the best investment you ever make. I'm sharing the story of my journey in hopes that you are motivated and inspired. I hope you are taking in everything that all the amazing speakers and corporate have been trying to give you this weekend. Whew. And I hope that you leave here ready to decide, ready to find your why and make new goals. And when you do leave here, don't forget, stop prejudging others, but mostly stop prejudging yourself. To all the leaders in my Aloette journey, I thank you so much for being the leaders that you are, the light that you give, and the love that you share with everyone you cross. To the new consultants, lifetime consultants, and affiliates, I hope if you haven't already, you take this weekend and turn it into whatever you want it to be. The success is yours, and you get to decide what that looks like. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.